Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If today is the first time of coming across my channel, this is Treasure's Craft. My name is Treasure Peter. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So in my last video, I did a video of how to draft this beautiful corset. It's a 3-part corset and it has a snatch waistline. So guys, on this channel today, I'll be showing you the step-by-step process of sewing this beautiful 3-part corset. Keep watching till the end and thank you. Hello guys, welcome back once again. So this is the sewing part of this tutorial. I had gone ahead to cut the lining and I also interface all the linings with my ST. I also interface the material, all the parts including the cups with my ST. So guys, if you check my description box below, just below, you're going to see the link to the video of the drafting of this corset. So just do well to check my description box and click the link to watch the video so you understand better. So this is the bra cup we'll be using. Like I said earlier, it's actually size 34. For us to achieve a nicer shaped cup, we have to sew it from the up part with 1/2 inch to the middle part. So I'll go ahead to my machine to sew it. These are the 3 parts of the corset. I had to still place my paper in order to know how to position it. I went ahead to cut 2 parts for each of it. I had already placed the stay on it, so I went ahead to just separate it. So this part can be very tricky. In order for you not to make mistake, make sure that you separate it and you arrange it the way it ought to be. So what I did was I still had to keep the paper so I will know how to position it. So just go ahead to the sewing machine to just position it and sew it first. Sew the down part. I also sew this other side guys, and I'll show you guys what I have. So after joining the down cups, this was what I had. The next thing I'll do is to just use my scissors to notch round because it is a curve. So note that whenever you have a curve, it is always pertinent to use your scissors to notch round so that you have a neat finishing whenever you're ironing it. So the next thing I did was I brought the breast ball. So this breast ball, I had already done a video on how to make this breast ball and I'll drop it on my description box also. So I went ahead to use my breast ball to open up the seams and iron it. Note I use 1/2 inch in order to sew this joining. In order to join the cup part, I use 1/2 inch because that was the allowance I had it. So guys, after ironing it, this was what we have. So look at it, see how it's looking very fine. It's already coming out. So guys, the next thing I did was to sew the bias on the joining. So I used the bias to cover the joining so it will separate and it will show that it's actually a 3-part corset. So guys, you have to be careful while sewing your bias on this part. You have to sew it on the 2 parts just like you sew a normal bias. So this was what I had after sewing it. As you can see, the seams are still open, so you just have to be careful so you will not make the cups to shrink in. So the next thing I'm doing now is to attach the up part to the down part. You can go ahead to pin it down first before you attach it. So I'll go ahead to the sewing machine to just sew it and I'll show you guys what I have. So guys, after joining it, this was what I had. I had gone ahead to also join the other cup. So guys, the next thing I did was also to open up this joining part and put in my scissors in order to notch it. And then after that, I went ahead to my iron to also use my breast ball to open the seams and iron it just like I did to this other part. So I'll do that off the camera and show you guys what I have. So guys, this is what I had after ironing the both cups. The next thing I proceeded to do is to take the bias to cover the joining and form the 3-part corset. So I'll go ahead to my machine to sew on it. So guys, here are our cups after sewing it. This is how it looks like. As you can see, the seams are open, so you need to identify the right side and the left side of the cups. I went ahead to also sew and join the cups for the lining and I opened up the seams and also ironed them. So if you check very well, you notice the bigger side, that is the one that is by the side, and then the smaller side is at the center side. So that is what you can also use to identify the position of the cups. So guys, after taking in the darts for the bra cup, this was what we had. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to fix the bra cup into the corset cups. So to do that, you have to make use of your hemming gum to iron it very well. So just go ahead to put your hemming gum in between the bra cup and the corset cup. So just fix enough hemming gum if you have, depending on what you have. I just went ahead to arrange mine in this manner, and then go ahead to put the corset cup on it, and then you place it on top of your bust arm. Arrange it very well. Please make sure that you arrange it very well. Take it to your ironing table to iron it. Make sure that you use a steam iron for a better result. So I proceeded to iron the both cups. You have to actually take your time while ironing this. So guys, after ironing, this was what I had. As you can see, it's not coming out and the cups are looking very fine. So guys, at this point we'll be creating the boning channels for the bodies of this corset. In order to do that, I folded my bodies into two in order to determine the midpoint. I went ahead to use my iron to just iron and note the midpoint. So guys, after noting the midpoint, I went ahead to just use my chalk to trace it out. So this is the first line where our bias will run through. From that center line, I went ahead to measure 3 inches from the center line, and I marked the 3 inches from the up part to the down part. I went ahead to use my ruler to connect it. I proceeded to do the same thing to the other side. I marked 3 inches and I connected it. Then from this part, guys, I decided to make it a slant line. In order to do that, from the center part, I came in with 1.5 inch and then connected it back to that 3 inches. That means I'll be working with the 1.5 inch line at the down part and 3 inches line at the up part. I hope you guys understand. That means the other line is not going to be a straight line but a slant line. So I proceeded to connect it in a slant line in this manner. I went ahead to do the same thing to this other side. Sorry, my chalk is not showing, but I hope you guys understand from the way I'm explaining. So guys, after that, I'm still going to create the last channel for the bone. So far we've gotten 3 lines. So the next line, in order to create the next line, from that 3 inches line that I kept, I went out by 4 inches towards the side at the upper part. At the down part, from the 1.5 inch point, I came out with 2.5 inches and then connected it back. Hope you guys understand. So I did not connect it from the center line, rather from the 1.5 inch line that I had created. So I did the same thing to this other side, and that is it. I'll take it to my sewing machine to run the bias through. And then for the back also, I proceeded to also run my bias. For the back, I did not run much bias. I only used 2 lines. So for the from the center part, I measured 1 inch for the first line, and then for the second line, from the 1 inch, I measured 3 inches to take the bias. So just go ahead to do the same thing. If you want to add extra lines, it's still very okay. So I will go ahead to my machine to sew it for both the front and the back, and I'll show you guys what I have after sewing it. So guys, at this point I was trying to describe the type of boning you should use. Make sure that it's a boning that will pass through your bias. Except you do not want to use the bias, you want to use a material to create your own bias, you can go ahead to use any type of boning, but you have to check the different types of boning. Like here, I was showing you guys the different type. This other smaller one was the one I used because the bigger one did not pass through the bias easily. So you just have to check your boning so you know the one you use. So guys, here is what I had after running the bias. I made sure that there was space for me to pass my bones through. So guys, I also proceeded to run the bias on the back side. So the next thing we'll be doing is to join our cups. Here are our cups. Remember I told you the smaller parts will be at the center part while the bigger part will be at the side part. So this is automatically how our cups would look like. So guys, it's always good for you to pin the cups before sewing. So I proceeded to just pin my cups first. So this cup part can be a little bit tricky. You just have to take your time so you'll be able to achieve the best result. Make sure that it aligns very well. Make sure that the middle part of the cup also aligns with the middle part of the under bust area. And then go ahead to pin it all up before you take it to the machine to join it. So the joining part was actually 1/2 inch because I added allowance of 1/2 inch. So I also proceeded to attach this other side also. So guys, as you can see, I did not really take note of the bra cup. So the bra cup was also part of the joining. I did not really separate it it doesn't really matter if your joining is on the bra cup. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to explain. So you don't have to necessarily take out your bra cup and just join it where the material part is alone. The bra cup can still be there when you're joining it. It's a foam, so it doesn't really affect your corset. So guys, after joining it, this was what I had. Guys, this part is not really necessary, but if you want to have a very neat finishing, it's actually necessary. So just go ahead to notch round this joining part. So like I told you before, every part that is a curve, it's actually necessary that you put in your scissors to just cut it a bit. Please don't cut through your thread, just cut in a bit in order to open it up and iron it, since it's a curve, so that it will relax a bit. So that's just my aim of always doing this. So I'll just go ahead to open it up and iron it. So this is the lining. I had also proceeded to join the cup part of the lining. So whatever I'm doing on the material, I'm also going to be doing it on the lining. So guys, this is it when I was ironing it. I just had to proceed to show you guys how I was ironing it. I used my bust arm to actually iron it properly. So guys, the next thing we are going to do is to close the side. So I'm closing it differently, my material to my material and the lining to the lining. So just go ahead to close it with the normal measurement. So this was what I had after closing it. I will just proceed to cut it out. This part is actually not necessary. You can leave it at this point, but I decided to just cut it off because I will be using my bias to also run through at the side part, because I want to also fix the bone at that side part in order to bring out that illusion hip line. So I proceeded to open up the seams at that point and iron it very well before taking it to the machine to run the bias. So guys, if you watch up to this point and you've not yet subscribed, please do well to subscribe and also like and comment so that YouTube will push my video to other people who are interested in watching this. So I also went ahead to cut the lining just like I did to the material. Guys, this was what I had after I was done joining it. As you can see, I opened up the seams before placing the bias, and then I'll just go ahead to iron it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to trim up this up part, because I noticed it wasn't really giving me this strapless top. So I decided to trim out the armhole part of this back area. Initially I wanted to attach the sleeves, but I decided to make it a detachable sleeves. That is why I'm trimming this off. So I'll go ahead to place it on the other side and also trim it out, and then I'll also trim it out on my lining. So the next thing I proceeded to do was to turn the neck part of this corset. I used my hemming gum to turn the neck part, so I'll be able to iron it well and it will hide the lining part. So I'll proceed to just join it like this on my sewing machine. So after joining it, this was what I had. I went ahead to also top stitch on it. After notching round these areas, I top stitch on it. So guys, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to iron this lining in very well. So in order to iron this lining in very well, I used my hemming gum to just put it in between the cups like this, and then I arranged the part very well in order to make my lining not to show, and I went ahead to iron it with my bust arm. So just go ahead to do the same thing. Sorry, this part wasn't showing on my video and I didn't notice it. So just go ahead to iron it very well in order to gum it so that your lining part will not be showing. If not, the lining part will definitely show. So guys, after ironing one part, this is how it looks. As you can see, this other side is still showing, but this other side is already hidden. This is it when I was done doing it. The lining at the neck part is now well hidden because of the hemming gum. So guys, at this point I proceeded to turn this part where the eyelet is going to be fixed. So if you do not intend to use your eyelet, you can just go ahead to fix the boning before turning the down part, and then you use the loops to sew and close that area. I hope you guys understand. So guys, this was what I had after closing it. I had gone ahead to iron it, and that is where I'll be fixing the eyelet. So I proceeded to mark my points for the eyelet. I left 1 inch at the top part, left 1.5 inch after the 1 inch, and I continued with 1.5 inch till the end. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to fix the boning through these boning channels. So to do that I first had to measure the boning, and I left about 1 inch space at the down part for cutting it out. So the way I'm going to be putting the bonings, make sure that the curvy part is facing the up part when you are putting it. I use a lighter to burn the edge of the boning first so that it will not pierce through the clothes. So I just proceeded to fix it in. So I'll just go ahead to fix it in all through the boning channels, and then I'll show you guys what I have. So guys, this is it after I was done fixing the bonings. I also inserted the bonings at the side part. So guys, at that side part, we are going to just use our hand to break the boning in this manner. Make sure that is at the waist part. So just break the bone in this manner as if you are folding it in. So the aim is that we are not going to iron from that part down, but we are going to iron the rest of the place in order to make the bone to be straightened, but we didn't want this other part to be straightened. So this part is just to bring out that illusion hip line. This is not compulsory. If you don't want to do this, go ahead to iron all the parts to be straight. So I took it to my ironing board where I'm going to be ironing it, and I ironed to show you guys how to iron the boning. So just go ahead to use your steam iron to iron it. One thing the steam iron will do is that it will make this bone to stick into your clothes, so it will not really come out. So you have to make sure that you arrange your bone very well to reach the end point so that it will not affect it when you've ironed it very well. So the main purpose of ironing it is actually to straighten it, but we do not want to straighten this other part. We want it to have the illusion waistline. So I'll suggest that if you want to make yours the same way, try to make your top to be longer than this, because I discovered my top was kind of too short. So I proceeded to just iron my top like this in this manner. I kept it like this, as you can see. So our top is almost ready. The next thing I'm going to do is to hem the down part, and then that is all for the top. So I had gone ahead to fix the eyelet. I took it to the market because I do not have an eyelet machine to fix the eyelet. After that, the next thing I'm going to do is to hem this down part. In order to do that, I proceeded to cut this long strap of material, and I'm going to use it to just turn it in. So in order to turn it in, because I didn't want it to show at my right side, I went ahead to use this invisible thread on my shuttle. So if you have an invisible thread, it will really help a lot. So I'll be using it on my ruler, and then I'll use the normal thread at the upper part, and then proceeded to sew it. See the way I joined it? I had to join it this manner, this way, and then I'll go ahead to join it again in this way. So guys, this was what I had after sewing it. As you can see, the thread is not showing because I used the invisible thread at the ruler part of my machine. So guys, our top is ready. I proceeded to also make this rope for the lacing, and then for the sleeves, I went ahead to cut my sleeves. The sleeves length was about 12 inches while the width was about 45 inches. So I went ahead to hem the up part and the down part, and then I fixed my elastic. I used 9 inches elastic for the up part and 9 inches elastic for the down part, and then I'll proceed to just fix it off the camera, and then I'll show you guys the final look of this top with my 2 detachable sleeves. So at this point, I had fixed my elastic. I went ahead to just close the sleeves, and that is it for the sleeves. So guys, here is the final look of the sleeves, and here is the final look of this top. I proceeded to use my rope to lace it to show you guys how to go about with the lacing. So this is it. This is just the final look of our top. Thank you so much if you've watched up to this point. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Please, if you've not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and also turn on your notification bell so that whenever I drop a video, you'll be notified. See you guys in my next video. Bye. Meanwhile, there has several ways you could actually wear this corset, you could wear it with a shirt, it will still go, or you wear it with a turtleneck top, it will go, or you just wear it like that, depending on whatever you want, whatever you choose. See you guys, bye once again.